Welcome, sleepy friend, to another peaceful journey with Astral Quantum for sleep. Whether you're here to explore, unwind, or simply drift into a restful slumber, you've found the perfect place. Tonight, we're embarking on a tranquil cosmic journey, where the mysteries of the universe meet the soothing embrace of spiritual relaxation. Before we begin our cosmic voyage, I invite you to give this video a little like. It helps our peaceful corner of YouTube reach other dreamers like you, those seeking the calm of the universe's quiet rhythm. If you're ready for more gentle explorations of quantum science, spiritual awakening, and peaceful rest, tapping the subscribe button is always appreciated. But before we slip into the peaceful sway of the tides and the gentle pull of the moon, I'd love to know where in the world you're listening from. It's always a soothing joy to see this little sleepy community stretching across time zones and continents. Leave a comment below and share your location, whether it's the middle of the night or the soft light of morning in your part of the world. Now, as you settle in, make yourself comfortable and let the quiet rhythm of the universe wrap around you. Picture this in your mind: a beach at dawn. The first light touches the sky, casting a soft pink hue. The wind whispers, and the waves softly roll in, like they're breathing, inhaling and exhaling in a calm, rhythmic pattern. The waves, like the pulse of the earth, are slow and steady. This is the tide. The tide is not just a simple rise and fall of water. It's a cosmic, rhythmic dance orchestrated by forces greater than us forces we'll explore tonight. And much like the rhythm of the tides, we too are pulled by unseen forces, each in our own way. As you relax deeper into the soft embrace of your blankets, notice the peace that the waves bring with them. Feel the steady rise and fall of the ocean, almost like your own breath. As you breathe in and out, let the rhythm of the tide sync with your own, gently guiding you into a restful state of mind. Tonight, our journey will unfold through the lens of quantum spirituality and cosmic forces. We will explore how the moon's gravitational pull shapes the tides, and how those tides, in turn, shape life on Earth. Imagine that just like the moon, the quiet forces of the universe are always there, subtly guiding us, whether we're aware of them or not. Tonight, we'll tune into these forces, the very ones that create the tides and the dance of the cosmos, and allow them to guide us into the deep, restful sleep we all deserve. Before we set out on this lunar voyage, let's take a moment to appreciate the beauty of this quiet ritual. The moon, with its silvery glow, pulls gently at the oceans, guiding the tides in a slow, steady dance. It's a dance that's been going on for billions of years, with perfect cosmic precision. And just as the moon influences the oceans, its pull also affects us in ways we may not fully understand yet. Let your mind settle into this peaceful state. The gentle tide is coming in, and so is the quiet, steady pull of the universe. As you take a deep breath, feel your body sink deeper into relaxation, as though the very rhythm of the ocean is becoming part of you. You are part of this dance, part of the great cosmic rhythm that has shaped the Earth and the moon for eons. Now that we've settled into the cosmic rhythm, let's explore the heart of the tides. Imagine for a moment that Earth is not a solid ball, but a squishy water balloon wrapped in a thin layer of land. The moon, that silver celestial companion, is quietly pulling on this water balloon, creating a gentle, continuous tug. But this pull is not dramatic or sudden. It's soft, subtle, like the moon is whispering to the ocean, inviting it to move. This quiet invitation is what creates the tides. The ocean doesn't respond with a violent surge. Instead, it slowly rises and falls, as though it's responding to a deep, eternal call. The moon's gravitational pull pulls the ocean towards it, creating a bulge of water on the side of Earth that faces the moon. This is what we call high tide, but there's something more to it. Here's where things get beautifully strange. Imagine that on the opposite side of the Earth, there's another bulge, the side that's facing away from the moon. Wait, how is that possible? How can the moon pull water towards it, but create a second bulge on the other side? This is one of the universe's magical moments, and the key to understanding the beauty of gravitational forces. While the moon's gravity pulls the ocean's waters toward it, the Earth itself is also being pulled slightly toward the moon. But here's the twist. The water on the far side of Earth doesn't move as much as the Earth itself does. This creates a second bulge, but not because the moon is pulling the water away. It's because the Earth's own mass is being drawn toward the moon, leaving the water on the far side behind. This difference in gravitational forces creates a phenomenon known as the tidal force. The Earth and the moon are engaged in a cosmic tug-of-war, where the Earth is being pulled in one direction while the water on the opposite side lags behind. This gentle imbalance stretches the oceans, creating two bulges, one facing the moon and one on the opposite side. As Earth rotates beneath these bulges, different regions pass through them, experiencing high and low tides in a constant rhythmic pattern. The rhythm of the tides is the rhythm of the universe, quiet, constant, and beautifully predictable. The tidal forces are a reminder of the delicate balance of our planet, shaped by invisible forces, just like the way our thoughts, intentions, and consciousness shape our reality. The tides are a cosmic reflection of this relationship, a continuous, quiet dance between Earth, the moon, and the forces that bind them together. Even as you lie there now, relaxing and drifting towards sleep, the moon is still gently pulling at the oceans. Somewhere in the world, a beach is being revealed as the tide retreats, a boat is rocking slightly lower in the harbor, and perhaps a crab is deciding whether it's safe to come out from its hiding spot. All of this is happening even as you rest, guided by the same celestial pull that governs the tides. The time between high tides is about 12 hours and 25 minutes. That's just a little more than half a day. This is because the moon doesn't remain still. It orbits around Earth, moving slightly ahead each hour. As Earth rotates, it has to catch up with the moon's position in the sky, and this causes high tides to shift over time. Each high tide arrives later each day by about 50 minutes. The moon is always fashionably late, just like the ebb and flow of time itself. The dance between the Earth and the moon is a quiet one, but it's not just the moon pulling the tides. There's another cosmic partner in this rhythm, the Sunday. While the sun is much farther away than the moon, its gravitational influence still plays a crucial role in the tides. The sun's gravity pulls on Earth and its oceans, but it's not quite as powerful as the moon's pull. Why? Because the sun is about 400 times farther from Earth than the moon, which weakens its effect. But don't be fooled by the sun's distance. Despite being farther away, the sun is vastly more massive than the moon, about 27 million times larger. This means that when the sun and the moon align, their combined gravitational pull can create dramatic effects on the tides. When these two celestial forces work together, they amplify the tide's rhythm, creating higher high tides and lower low tides. These cosmic alignments occur during the full moon and the new moon. During these phases, Earth, the moon, and the sun align in a straight line. This is called syzygy, a fun word that captures this perfect alignment. When the moon and sun pull in the same direction, their forces combine, causing the tides to become more extreme. These moments are known as spring tides, not because they happen in the spring season, but because the water seems to spring farther than usual. Imagine the moon on one side of Earth pulling on the oceans, and the sun on the other side exerting its own force. Together, they create high tides that rise higher than normal and low tides that fall lower. It's a grand cosmic performance, one that brings about the most dramatic tidal changes. During a full moon, when the moon is opposite the sun, we experience these amplified tides, as the two forces pull in opposite directions, creating a tug-of-war that results in extreme tidal ranges. On the flip side, we also experience what are known as neap tides. These happen when the sun and moon are at right angles to each other, during the first and third quarters of the moon's cycle. In this case, the sun's gravitational pull partially cancels out the moon's pull, leading to more moderate tides. The ocean's usual rhythmic rise and fall becomes calmer, more restrained, like a gentle exhale after the excitement of the spring tides. The dance of the sun and the moon is a reminder of the interconnectedness of everything in the universe. These celestial bodies, despite their distance and differences, move in perfect harmony. Their cosmic embrace shapes not only the oceans, but the very essence of time itself. Now, think about this for a moment. What we perceive as time, that steady ticking of the clock, is influenced by the moon and the Sunday. The very rhythm of our existence, our days, our months, our seasons, is shaped by the gravitational pull of these cosmic companions. The moon, with its quiet force, stabilizes Earth's axis, ensuring that our planet's tilt remains steady, keeping the seasons regular and the cycle of life predictable. It's awe-inspiring, isn't it? To realize that every day, we're moving through space, orbiting around the sun, with the moon gently pulling at the tides of the Earth. It's a cosmic rhythm that has existed for billions of years. A quiet force that shapes everything from the rise of the oceans to the ebb of time itself. As we continue our cosmic journey, we now look deeper into how the tides affect not just the oceans, but the Earth itself. It's easy to think of the Earth as a solid, unchanging mass beneath our feet, but in reality, Earth is constantly responding to the forces around it, including the moon. And these responses are just as subtle and majestic as the tides themselves. We've already explored how the moon's gravity creates bulges in the ocean, pulling the water toward it. But did you know that the Earth itself, the solid land beneath our feet, also responds to the moon's pull? This phenomenon is called Earth tide, and it's a reminder that nothing on Earth is truly still. Even the solid ground beneath us rises and falls by a few centimeters due to the tidal forces exerted by the moon's gravity. Imagine this. As the moon pulls on the oceans, it also exerts a gentle influence on the entire Earth. The land beneath our feet slightly shifts and moves in response to the same gravitational forces that create the ocean's bulges. Earth itself isn't rigid, it's alive with movement, constantly reacting to the subtle pull of the moon. It's like the Earth is in sync with the ocean's rhythm, moving in harmony with the lunar dance. But Earth's response isn't just limited to its surface. The moon's gravitational pull also affects the Earth's rotation. As the tidal forces act on the oceans, they create friction between the water and the ocean floor. This friction slowly saps energy from Earth's rotation, causing it to slow down over time. This means that the days on Earth are getting longer, though not by much. Over millions of years, this subtle deceleration could result in longer days, giving us more time to observe the rhythms of the universe. What's even more fascinating is that this energy lost by the Earth's rotation is not just wasted. It's transferred to the moon, which slowly drifts away from Earth, moving about 3.8 centimeters further each year. This gradual separation means that the moon's gravitational influence on the tides will lessen over time, causing the tides to become smaller and more subdued. It's a delicate balance that plays out over billions of years, and we are here for a brief moment in the vastness of time, witnessing it in action. While the moon pulls on the oceans and the Earth, it's also affecting the climate. The moon helps stabilize Earth's axis, preventing wild fluctuations in the planet's tilt. Without the moon's stabilizing force, the Earth's tilt could vary dramatically, causing extreme shifts in climate. The moon's quiet, steady pull keeps our planet's seasons predictable, allowing life to flourish in a stable environment. It's just another way that the moon influences our existence, even when we're not aware of it. As you lie back and relax, let this idea sink in. The Earth, the oceans, and the moon are all in a constant, silent conversation. It's a cosmic dialogue that shapes everything from the rise and fall of the tides to the very rhythm of time itself. The moon isn't just a distant object in the sky. It's an active participant in the dance of life, moving the oceans, stabilizing the Earth, and influencing the way time flows. Even now, as you rest, the moon's pull is still working its magic. Somewhere on the Earth's surface, the tides are rising and falling, responding to the quiet call of the moon. The Earth, too, is moving in response, subtly shifting and rotating in its dance with the cosmos. As we explore the deep relationship between the Earth and the moon, it's important to remember that the moon is not alone in its celestial journey. The sun, too, plays a role in shaping the tides, though its influence is less direct than the moon's. The sun's gravitational pull on Earth is immense, but because it is so far away, about 400 times farther than the moon, its effect is much weaker. However, when the moon and the sun align during full moons and new moons, their combined forces create moments of heightened tidal activity. These are the spring tides we've touched on before. It's not the season that gives these tides their name, but the idea of the water springing higher up the shore. When the moon and sun align, they both pull on Earth's oceans in the same direction, magnifying the tidal forces. Think of it like two friends pulling a rope in the same direction. The tug is stronger when they work together. This alignment results in higher high tides and lower low tides, creating more dramatic fluctuations in the ocean's levels. It's fascinating how these forces, though invisible, shape the very rhythm of life on Earth. The moon and the sun may be far away, but their gravitational influence is a constant and reliable force that shapes not only the tides, but the ecosystems of our planet. The ocean's rise and fall is more than a simple physical process. It's part of a cosmic choreography that connects us all to the larger universe. But what happens when the moon and the sun are not aligned? This is where neap tides come into play. Neap tides occur when the moon and the sun form a right angle relative to Earth during the first and third quarters of the moon. During these times, the sun's pull partially cancels out the moon's pull, resulting in more moderate tides. The water doesn't rise or fall as dramatically, as if the cosmic forces are taking a gentle pause. These ebbing and flowing cosmic forces have been part of Earth's story for billions of years. And while we experience the tides as a daily rhythm, their influence is timeless, shaping everything from the migration patterns of sea creatures to the biological rhythms of life that rely on the moon's cycle. As you lie there, relaxing into the soft rhythm of this tale, take a moment to reflect on the cosmic connection we share with the moon, the sun, and the tides. Though these forces may seem distant, they are integral to the planet's balance and to our own connection with the universe. Just as the ocean moves in response to the moon's pull, so too do we respond to the rhythms of the cosmos. The tides are a reminder of the gentle but powerful forces that shape our world, forces we may not always see, but that are always there, guiding us, whether we're aware of them or not. Now, think of how the sun and the moon work together, harmonizing their gravitational pull. It's a cosmic duet, one that has been playing since the beginning of time. And just as these forces create the tides, they also create the rhythm of our own lives, shaping our calendars, our routines, and the very way we measure time. Now that we understand the cosmic forces at play, the moon's gentle tug, and the sun's gravitational influence, let's take a moment to appreciate the diversity of tides across the planet. While the moon and the sun may be universal in their effect, the way tides manifest on Earth is far from uniform. Just as every individual responds differently to the rhythms of life, so too do the oceans respond to the forces that shape them. Tides are influenced by the shape of the coastline, the depth of the seafloor, and the contours of the land. Imagine for a moment the Earth as a giant, textured surface filled with deep valleys and high ridges. These geographical features interact with the tides, altering how they behave as they move across the planet. In some locations, the tides are simple and predictable, following the same pattern every day. Semidiurnal tides are found in places like the east coast of North America, where 2 high tides and 2 low tides occur every lunar day. The tidal heights are roughly the same, creating a balanced ebb and flow. But even in this seemingly straightforward pattern, there are subtle shifts that tides may not always rise and fall by exactly the same amount, but the rhythm is dependable. However, other regions experience a completely different kind of tidal dance. In places with mixed tides, the high and low tides can vary widely in size. The forces of gravity, combined with the shape of the coastline, create a more irregular pattern, one that is constantly shifting. The tidal rhythm is still there, but it's a more complex, unpredictable flow. Then, there are the dull tides, where some places experience only 1 high tide and 1 low tide each lunar day. This is less common, but it still occurs, especially in areas where the shape of the coastline funnels the tidal waves in such a way that only one bulge is created. These unique tidal rhythms are a testament to the planet's ability to adapt and respond to the forces that shape it. But the most fascinating tides are the extreme ones, found in areas like the Bay of Fundy in Canada, where the tides can rise and fall by more than 16 meters. That's over 50 feet. Imagine the water rising so dramatically that it can fill up a 5-story building and then retreating just as quickly. What creates these supersized tides? The answer lies in something called resonance. The Bay of Fundy's unique shape, a narrow inlet between 2 landmasses, amplifies the tidal forces, much like how a child's swing can go higher if you push it at the right moment. As the tide enters the bay, its energy builds on itself, creating a powerful surge. This natural amplification of the tides creates some of the highest tidal ranges in the world. And then there's the Mediterranean Sea, which experiences minimal tides due to its almost enclosed nature. With only a narrow passage through the Strait of Gibraltar connecting it to the Atlantic Ocean, tidal energy is dampened as it tries to enter the sea. In these regions, the tides are so subtle that they're barely noticeable. The moon's pull is still there, of course, but it has to gently coax the water, with no room to create the dramatic fluctuations we see in places like the Bay of Fundy. Another unique phenomenon is found in places known as amphidromic points. These are locations in the ocean where the tide appears to stand still, almost as though the water is spinning around in a circle instead of rising and falling. If you were to float over one of these points, you might not even notice the tide, as the water moves in gentle circular motions rather than the expected rise and fall. These points, though rare, add another layer of complexity to the tidal story, a quiet center where the universe's forces seem to momentarily pause. As we continue our journey through the tides and the subtle cosmic forces at play, it's fascinating to consider just how deeply these tides affect life on Earth. The ocean's rise and fall may seem like a simple process, but it is, in fact, the heartbeat of the planet. The tides don't just shape coastlines, they shape ecosystems, influence migration patterns, and even play a role in the biological rhythms of many creatures. Let's begin in the intertidal zones, those unique strips of coastline that are exposed at low tide and covered at high tide. These areas are in a constant state of flux, where the land and sea meet, creating an environment that is both land and sea, a place of dual identities. For the creatures that live here, life is all about timing, patience, and resilience. Take, for example, the sea star, often thought of as a passive, stationary creature, but it's actually a methodical predator. As the tide rises, the sea star ventures out in search of clams and mussels. It uses a slow but powerful hydraulic grip to pry open their shells, feasting as the tide moves in. When the tide recedes, The sea star retreats to a rock or burrows into damp sand, waiting for the next wave to bring it back to the feast. The sea star's survival is intimately tied to the rhythm of the tides, moving with the flow, feeding, and resting in perfect harmony with the ocean's natural pulse. The periwinkle snail, another resident of the intertidal zone, also lives a life dictated by the tides. When the tide is low, the snail huddles close to rocks, avoiding the harsh sun and predators. But as the tide returns, it comes to life, gliding across wet surfaces in search of algae to feed on. In this world, the tide governs all the creatures here have adapted to live in tune with its rhythm, knowing that their survival depends on understanding when to emerge and when to hide. The tidal rhythm doesn't just affect small creatures either. The entire food chain depends on the flow of the tides. For example, the grunion fish of the California and Mexico coasts swims ashore during spring tides to lay its eggs. These fish time their spawn perfectly with the highest tides, leaving their eggs in the wet sand just beyond the reach of the regular tide. The eggs remain safe, and when the next spring tide comes, they hatch, creating a breathtaking spectacle of silver fish flopping on the beach. Tides even affect migratory birds. Take the horseshoe crab, a living fossil that comes ashore during the full and new moon spring tides. During these high tides, millions of horseshoe crabs gather along the shores of the Atlantic coast to lay their eggs. The eggs are then gobbled up by migratory birds like the red knot, who time their journey specifically to coincide with the horseshoe crab spawn. This synchronized event has been happening for centuries, a delicate balance of timing, tides, and life cycles. The tides, in all their quiet majesty, are also responsible for transporting nutrients across the planet. As water moves in and out of estuaries and tidal flats, it brings with it microscopic plankton, minerals, and organic materials that sustain marine life. These nutrient-rich waters feed the ecosystems that depend on them. Plants like salt marsh grasses grow tall and thick in these tidal zones, playing a crucial role in trapping sediment and stabilizing the coastline. Without the tides, these environments wouldn't thrive. The intertidal zones are nature's conveyor belts, moving nutrients, feeding ecosystems, and creating an intricate web of life. From tiny algae to towering mangrove trees, from delicate sea urchins to majestic seabirds, the tides are the lifeblood of countless creatures. And it's not just marine life that depends on the tides. Human cultures have also built their lives around these rhythms. For centuries, coastal communities have relied on the tides for fishing, navigation, and even daily routines. Ancient cultures built fish traps in the intertidal zone, creating clever rock arrangements that allowed fish to swim in with the rising tide, only to be stranded when the water receded. In places like Southeast Asia, fishing villages still structure their entire routines around the tides. Boat trips, harvests, and shoreline foraging all depend on knowing when the tide will rise and fall. In places like Venice, Italy, the tides have shaped the city's very architecture. Venice is built on a network of islands and canals, and high tides, known as acqua alta, regularly flood the streets. While this has always been part of life in Venice, rising sea levels and more extreme weather patterns are making these high tides more frequent and intense. Venice's residents have adapted by raising buildings and using raised platforms to walk along the streets. The tides may be a source of inconvenience, but they are also a constant reminder of the power of nature's rhythm. In Northern Europe, where mud flats stretch for miles, people still walk or drive across the seafloor during low tide, reaching islands that are otherwise cut off during high tide. It's a unique sight to see vehicles driving along what appears to be the ocean floor, only to be submerged hours later. These human interactions with the tides show just how deeply connected we are to the rhythm of the earth. As we continue to explore the profound impact of the tides, it's incredible to think about how this cosmic rhythm has influenced not just nature, but also human civilization. Throughout history, the tides have played a central role in shaping the way people live, work, and connect with the earth. The rhythms of the ocean have guided sailors, helped farmers time their crops, and inspired countless myths and stories. In ancient cultures, the tides were so crucial to daily life that entire societies built their economies and traditions around the ocean's movements. Ancient fishermen in places like China and Mesopotamia studied the tides to determine the best times to harvest seafood, planning their trips based on the predictable rise and fall of the sea. Monks in the Middle Ages timed their prayers and activities with the tides, using the natural cycle to structure their spiritual practices. The tides were a natural clock, guiding their routines and rhythms in a way that felt both practical and mystical. In more modern times, coastal cities still rely heavily on tide charts. Take the bustling streets of London, where the Thames barrier is raised during particularly high tides to prevent flooding. This engineering marvel helps the city adapt to the rhythm of the tides, ensuring that this ancient waterway doesn't overwhelm the city. Similarly, Venice has long dealt with the rising tides that flood its iconic streets. The city's response building, raised walkways and platforms is a testament to humanity's resilience and ability to adapt to the natural world's rhythms. These human responses to the tides show just how much we are connected to the ocean's pulse, even as we build our cities and technologies. But the tides do more than just shape the built environment. They also influence human emotions, creativity, and culture. The pull of the moon on the earth has inspired poetry, songs, and metaphors. We speak of the tide turning in relationships, fortunes ebbing and flowing like the sea, and emotions rising like the tide. This connection between lunar cycles and human feelings isn't just poetic. It reflects our deep intuitive awareness that we are part of the natural world. In many cultures, the moon and the tides have been linked to fertility, renewal, and life cycles. In ancient mythology, the moon was often depicted as a goddess or spirit that controlled the seas and influenced human fate. The tide was a powerful metaphor for change and transformation. And just as the ocean rises and falls, so too do our own lives ebb and flow with the changing seasons, the changing moon, and the changing tides of fate. The interplay between the Earth, the Moon, and the Sun has not only shaped our planet's geography, but also our sense of time. The lunar cycle, roughly 29.5 days, has been used for centuries to organize calendars and measure the passing of time. Lunar calendars were used by ancient civilizations for agricultural purposes, helping farmers determine the best times to plant and harvest their crops. The cycle of the moon, with its rhythmic rise and fall, was woven into the very fabric of human existence, guiding everything from rituals to harvests, from prayers to travel. Even today, modern humans still find themselves drawn to the tides. People visit the coast to witness the ocean's ebb and flow, watching as the tide reveals hidden treasures like seashells, starfish, and tide pools teeming with life. The tides, in all their beauty and unpredictability, continue to inspire awe and wonder. They remind us that there is a rhythm to life, a cosmic rhythm that has been beating for billions of years. We are part of that rhythm. Even as we navigate the complexities of modern life, the tides continue to pull at us, reminding us of our connection to the natural world. In fishing communities, the tides are still a vital part of daily life. Fishermen time their trips based on the tides, using the rhythm of the ocean to help them navigate the waters. In places like Southeast Asia, fishing villages have learned to track the tides with incredible precision, structuring their lives around the rhythms of the sea. These communities, often living in harmony with the ocean, show us how the tides are not just a natural force, but a living, breathing part of the environment that humans have learned to work with, just as the creatures of the sea have. But it's not just the coastline that the tides affect. Inland rivers and estuaries are also shaped by the gravitational pull of the moon. Tidal bores, like the one found in the Severn River in the UK, occur when the rising tide pushes water up a river against its flow, creating a wave that travels upstream. This rare and awe-inspiring phenomenon is just another example of the moon's influence, not only on the oceans but also on the river systems that feed them. As we look ahead, the future of the tides is just as fascinating as their past. We've explored how the moon's gravitational pull shapes the oceans, how the sun's influence amplifies the tides, and how different geographical features create unique tidal patterns. But the tides, like everything in the universe, are always in motion, constantly influenced by forces both cosmic and earthly. The story of the tides is not a static one. It is a dynamic and evolving process that continues to unfold. One of the most significant factors affecting the tides today is climate change. As global temperatures rise, glaciers melt, and sea levels rise, the shape of coastlines will change. Flooding will become more frequent, and some regions will experience stronger, more dramatic tides. As the Earth's climate continues to shift, so too will the rhythms of the tides, subtly altering the way they interact with the land. In some places, the tides will grow stronger, their forces more powerful, as the melting of polar ice adds more water to the oceans. In other areas, coastlines may shrink, and new inlets may form, changing the way the tides behave in those regions. The interaction between tides and coastlines will evolve as the oceans continue to rise and the land responds to the changing environment. But the relationship between the Earth and the Moon is also changing in more subtle ways. Over millions of years, the Moon has been slowly drifting away from Earth at a rate of about 3.8 centimeters per year. While this might seem like a small amount, over time, it will have a significant impact on the tides. As the Moon moves farther from Earth, its gravitational influence will weaken, and the tides will gradually become smaller and less pronounced. As the Moon drifts away, Earth's rotation will also continue to slow down. Right now, the length of a day on Earth is about 24 hours, but in the distant future, that could change. In several 100 million years, the day on Earth could last 25 hours, or even longer. The gradual slowing of the Earth's rotation and the Moon's distance will result in slower and less dramatic tides, a shift that will occur over eons. It's a subtle, cosmic dance, one that takes place on a scale that is far beyond our lifetimes. But the story of the tides is not just one of gradual change. There are innovative ways humans are trying to harness the power of the tides for renewable energy. Tidal energy, or tidal power, has been around for centuries. The first tidal mills, simple devices that use the movement of the tides to grind grain, date back to the 7th century. These early tidal mills were powered by the same forces that shape the ocean's rise and fall. Today, modern tidal power stations are being built to generate electricity from the tides. Tidal energy is predictable, renewable, and incredibly powerful. It doesn't rely on the wind or the sun, and it's not affected by clouds or weather patterns. The Reims tidal power station in France, for example, has been generating electricity since 1966, using the rise and fall of the tides to produce enough power for 130,000 homes. As the world shifts towards more sustainable energy sources, tidal energy could play an increasingly important role in meeting our growing energy needs. But as with all technology, there are challenges. Building tidal power stations in saltwater is a complex and costly process. The ocean environment is harsh and corrosive, and marine equipment must be built to withstand strong currents, storms, and the relentless battering of salt water. Maintenance costs can also be high, and geography plays a key role. Only certain places on Earth have strong enough tidal forces to make tidal energy viable. So, tidal energy stations are most effective in locations with narrow straits, estuaries, or coastal regions with large tidal ranges. Despite these challenges, tidal energy remains one of the most reliable and consistent forms of renewable energy. As climate change and the need for clean energy sources continue to drive global conversations, tidal energy offers a quiet, sustainable solution to meet our needs. It is the energy of the moon, harnessed by human ingenuity and innovation. And in the future, it may provide a growing source of power, just as the moon has provided a steady rhythm for the tides. In addition to tidal power, coastal communities are increasingly looking at the tides as a natural resource to help protect their cities from the effects of rising sea levels. As coastal flooding becomes a more pressing issue, understanding and adapting to tidal rhythms could play a key role in how we design our cities and protect our coastlines. The knowledge of the tides, passed down through generations, will continue to guide us as we face new challenges in the coming years. As we come to the end of our journey, let's reflect on the timeless relationship between Earth and the Moon, a cosmic connection that has shaped life on this planet for billions of years. The tides, while seemingly simple, are actually a magnificent expression of the forces that govern our universe. They are a reminder that the Earth, the Moon, and the Sun are all part of a larger cosmic dance, one that influences not only the ocean's rhythm, but the very fabric of life on Earth. The Moon, though it may seem distant and cold, is an ever-present companion. Its gravitational pull has been shaping the oceans since the beginning of time. Even as the Moon slowly drifts away from Earth, its influence remains steady. The tides continue, ebbing and flowing with the same rhythm that has existed for eons. This rhythm is predictable, reliable, and yet always mysterious, reminding us of the vastness of the universe and the gentle forces that shape our world. The cosmic forces that create the tides are more than just a scientific phenomenon. They are a metaphor for life itself. Just as the moon pulls at the oceans, so too do the invisible forces of the universe pull at us, guiding us, shaping us, and helping us find our own rhythms in life. We, too, are connected to these cosmic rhythms. We breathe in tune with the Earth's pulse, sleep under the light of the moon, and are pulled by the forces of the universe, often without even realizing it. The tides are a constant reminder that even in the chaos of life, there is an underlying order. Like clockwork, the tides rise and fall, bringing nourishment, changing landscapes, and sustaining life. They are a quiet force, never loud, never abrupt, but always present, always moving. And as you lie there, relaxed and at peace, remember that this cosmic dance is still happening, even while you sleep. In the grand scheme of the universe, we are but a small part of this cosmic rhythm, yet we are deeply connected to it. The moon's pull on the ocean is mirrored in the pull we feel in our hearts, in our souls. We are part of a larger cosmic symphony, and as the tides flow, we flow with them, following their rhythm, finding our place in the dance of life. Tonight, as you rest, think of the moon, think of the tides. Let them be a reminder of the subtle forces that shape our world and our lives. The tides may seem like a simple rise and fall of the ocean, but they are so much more. They are the gentle cosmic heartbeat of the earth, the quiet pull of the moon, and the eternal rhythm that unites all life on this planet. So, as you drift off to sleep, let the moon's pull guide you, let the rhythm of the tides soothe you, and let the universe's quiet forces wrap you in a peaceful embrace. The dance of the moon and the tides will continue, just as it has for billions of years, long after we've gone. And as you sleep, remember you are part of this timeless rhythm, a small but significant note in the grand symphony of the cosmos. Good night, sleepy friend.